Hey guys, welcome to Channel Madness. Today I'm just doing a quick little video on my Warlord Class Titan and from the new game Adeptus Titanicus by Games Workshop. So if you're not already sure, the Adeptus Titanicus is a new standalone game by Games Workshop that is basically a scaled down version of Titans fighting each other. If you're back from the old days, you might remember it from back when it used to be played. But if you're young like me, this is a sort of a new concept for you. So this is just my quick little video on my Warlord Titan that I've just finished painting. Still got 3 more to do, and I'm not really looking forward to that, but I will get it done at some point. So as you can clearly see, my one is done in the scheme of Legio Artis, or the Firebrands, basically red and sort of pale pastel skin colors here, which I think are very fabulous. My large four-drilled Warlord is also done in the same, but obviously done to a much more grandiose detail because it's a hell of a lot larger. I can tell you this one here only comes up to maybe his like just barely like his first, like the ankle part, not even up to, it doesn't even scale that. It's smaller than the Imperial Knight from obviously 40k games, and obviously this has Imperial Knights in it, which are basically tiny cute little things. But yeah, so looking at obviously this Warlord, you can see it has much the same detail as the full Warlord you can get from 4-drilled. It's only skimmed down in some minor areas, which I think are really nice because it still stands out as a very beautiful and luscious model where it's kept most of its detail. Some of the things I've done, I've gone through and I've magnetized obviously the Apocalypse missile launchers and the arms themselves, and the torso is not attached. I might think about gluing the torso down at a future date, however, not just yet. But yeah, I did decide to go magnetize the arms and the shoulder mounted weapons because I do fairly believe that at some point there will be different modeled options that you can take. I know there are obviously different options you can take in the game now with the little weapon cards, but I feel at some point they're obviously going to do different obviously weapons themselves. Whether or not it be 4-drilled does them, or Games Workshop will do, I don't know, an independent box. I feel like if Games Workshop's going to do it, it's just going to completely new, just another buy a Warlord sprue with one of each option, similar to how they normally run it. Similar to the knights, you can't just buy one knight that has all the options. You have to buy this knight, that knight, or that knight. It's a bit of a stink for us, especially over in NZ, but there's not much we can do about it at the moment. So yeah, hopefully 4-drill does it and you can just buy the weapons independently, because that would be so much better, and that way I can just buy the weapons I want, magnetize and paint them up, rather than have to buy a whole new Warlord just to, because I want to feel a different type of weapon. But yeah, so I've done this one here. I've kept to my jungle scenery that I normally do on all my bases. However, with this one, it posed a little bit of a problem because I had to scale the jungle down to make it seem like it much more luscious and large. So what I've decided to do is make the patchwork a lot more splotchy and a lot more sort of vibrant colours in there, and obviously I put some trees there. I'm not sure if I'm happy with the amount of trees. I've got more set up. I wanted it to be like I want the terrain to be like a luscious forest, but I think for now that it's a good amount of trees just to give sort of growth, and I think the scale works too, because obviously trees can be any sort of size. They can be small or large, so it's not really dependent on how big these trees are. It'll make more sense when the other terrain's done that you get with the Grandmaster Edition. So yeah, which I'm not looking forward to finishing. I've still got another box to go through, and I've got to finish up this box, which is another Warlord, which I will do in the Legio Mortis colors, because black, red, and gold. I'm happy with doing those colors quite easily, so that shouldn't be the head. And I've still got all the knights to do, and I haven't decided what colors to do the knights. So yeah, but I am looking for a name for this guy. Naming things is not something I'm really good at, so if you guys want to suggest any names that I can give this guy and put, then feel free, and I'll select the best one. One thing I will note is the what do you call them, the little cutout tattoo thingies. Oh shit, they were just in my head, but now I've forgotten what they're called. Anyway, the decals. There we go, decals. The decals I got, I don't know what was wrong with my ones, but the ones I was using when I was putting them in the water, they all sort of just shredded and split apart. And they were basically they were all just unusable, so I couldn't use any of the decals I got. But luckily I had obviously saved all my leftover knight ones, and I had some forge wheeled Titan ones that I had for my Warlord, and especially some forge wheeled Firebrands or the Artist ones. Unfortunately they're now out of print, so I'm a little bit screwed and have to be very careful about where I throw those ones around because I want to save them. But yeah, I used some of my forge wheeled Titan ones and some of my knight ones, which is good. But I did have a look afterwards. I should have done this beforehand, and I realized that the sheet I was cutting off, it didn't have the decals themselves weren't set in properly. If you normally check the decals and you sort of skim the area, you can see that each image is sort of has a sealant around it, which obviously holds the image together so you can place them on. The sheet I was using didn't have this, so whenever I would get the decal in the water, they would all just separate up. Like my tiny little cogs would all split by each individual cog and float around. And I gave it an attempt at trying to make it work, and then I was just like, no, this is nearly impossible. But luckily, not all that was the only sheet I got in the box that was I couldn't use. The rest of the ones I could use, and I'll make use of further on, which is good. But I managed to make use of some of the decals, which you can see on his legs and his shoulder pads and whatnot. I don't like to go too overboard with decals, especially because for these ones, obviously, the model is supposed to be huge, so any sort of detail on them is supposed to be tiny, and it's really hard to sort of gauge that if you have huge, large decals on this. But yeah, overall, I'm very happy with this model. I'm very impressed with the way it is, and I can't wait to start playing some Adeptus Titanicus on it. I just got to obviously paint another one, and then I got to paint 2 Legio Mortis ones for my trade legions. And yeah, and then obviously I'm going to have to do some Reavers. I want to do at least 2 Reavers for each as well, and when the Warhounds come out, I want to get at least 4 of those as well, so I can have big mandible battles with options, and including all the weapons. So yeah. So thanks for listening to me, guys, and if you've got any suggestions for names, please feel free to put them down below. I'm looking for anything that would suits them quite perfectly. And if you want any questions or ask how I did this, feel free to ask. Cheers, guys, and thanks for watching.